Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome, Jill. Thank you so much. So this is Jill of Color Nuts Yarn. I'm here to talk about their gorgeous yarn. Are you
Thank you
ready
so
to tell us
much.
about it?
Yeah. Well, my name's Jill Shalai. My husband and I started Color Notes Yarn back in 2012, I believe. It's been a few years now. And, I have been a maker, a needlework person, sewing and crochet and knitting, quilting since I was a kid. And I do it every single day. I am sitting here in my office, which is really my sewing room, and my crochet and knitting room too. You can see my thread collection behind me. Um, and and this has been my lifelong passion. I taught myself to knit when I was in high school, and as I grew up, I phased in and out of knitting, and got back into it probably 20 years ago now, and started to go to events like this, and back when they were live in person, and you know, stumbled across hand dyed yarns, and I just thought this was the coolest thing ever, and was very interested in figuring out how does that happen. And uh, basically, I'm self-taught, and we've been doing it for a number of years now, and really we focus on yarns, kind of two types, uh, modeled single colors like this one, where you can see, if I can get a little bit closer, where you can see the variation in the color just in how it's dyed. And then we do some hand paints. Um, our yarns are particularly, good for color work because they are so varied. It can really add a lot of interest to both a single color garment or a multiple colored garment. And so we do all of our work here at home. We have been doing that since the beginning. We sell exclusively through these kinds of events and on our website, which is colornotesyarn.com. And I have some, patterns I've designed, things I like to make. Like I said, I do this every day, and it's really my therapy, has always been. And we really, really enjoy it. And we try very, very hard to make sure our yarns are of very, very high quality, that the dyes are beautiful, that they, perform well. And I knit with what we sell. I wouldn't want to sell anything that I wouldn't want to knit with or crochet with.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. And recently we were able to, work with Lonnie Estill up in Northern California. And because I really wanted to have a yarn that was domestic. So many yarns, as beautiful as they are imported. And I just think it's such a shame that we don't have more choices for yarns that are grown and produced in the US. And it was sort of my personal mission to be able to find someone to partner with so that we could offer yarns that are truly made in the USA. A bit patriotic that way. And I think we should help each other. And so that's our primary line now, is Rambouillet, and which is, as many of you know, the American Merino breed. And it's wonderful. The other thing that I really like about it is that it's not chemically treated, right? It's not superwash yarn, it's real yarn. And I think that is, and I see you chuckling, Brooke. I think that makes the difference. Superwash yarns, are lovely. They are very, very soft, very drapey. And that is good for, some things. But if you're trying to make a top, or especially a sweater that needs a little bit more structure, they don't always hold up as well, especially if you wash them.
Yeah.
And so I was particularly interested in finding, more traditional yarns. And so really that's what we offer. That's what makes us really different. All of our yarns are not superwash. And so they have wonderful performance, whether it is super drapey, like here's a fingering weight yarn, and you can see how drapey that is. It won't even hold up. So this makes wonderful shawls and tops. and light sweaters, wristlets, fingerless mitts, things like that. Wonderful, wonderful yarn. And then you get up into a worsted weight, it has a lot of body to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's wonderful in a more structured garment that maybe has color work in it, or even a texture pattern. It will hold and show that texture really well. And because it has all the wonderful properties of wool and hasn't been altered, or really damaged in any way by superwashing, it performs and holds up really well. It's just naturally dirt repellent. It wicks away moisture. It stays cleaner. You really don't have to do much to it. If you spill something on it, obviously you want to try to get a stain out quickly, but the garment itself doesn't need a lot of care. So it's a great yarn for, it's worthy of your time to invest in it, right? Because you're going to end up with a garment that's really going to perform. So we have currently 3 weights of this Rambouillet. We have a beautiful fingering weight yarn, which is like this purple. This is called Black Plum. We have, and that's a 2-ply wool. Then I have a 3-ply, which is really almost a light worsted. This yarn is so fluffy. It is technically more of a DK weight. If you knit a little bit tighter, you'll get about 5.5 stitches per inch with this. You can see a little bit of color variation in there, just that's inherent in all of our yarns. And then we have a 4-ply worsted. Again, same, let me grab one. My arms aren't that long. 4-ply worsted, very nice round yarn. This color is roasted almond. Wonderful fall color. Look at the variation there. Again, super soft, just like, the softest merino that you've worked with. You can wear this right next to your skin. You don't have to worry about wearing a camisole or a t-shirt underneath it. You can wear this right up to your skin, so you can make a scarf out of it, a sweater, you could make, slipper socks or something, because it's very thick. I think it'd be hard to wear, socks made of worsted weight in your regular shoes, but certainly some of the lighter weights. Really anything you want to do with this. And it's wonderful yarn. Like I said, it's very bouncy. It's very easy to knit with. Great for a beginner. Nice. It's not splitty. It is, again, very, very bouncy and round and light for its size. It is spun. It's not too tightly spun. It's a little bit more loosely spun. So, I probably isn't the best yarn for socks, to be quite honest. It doesn't have any nylon in it. It is just the wool. So, keep that in mind. You certainly could use it for socks and knit it tightly as you would normally anyway. But because it is a kind of a luxury fiber, it's not going to hold up the way maybe some other breed specific wools might. But wonderful for a variety of garments and accessories. And
so do you have like all of your different colorways listed on your website so that people can see the amazing colors that you are dyeing?
Yeah, it's sort of a work in progress, right? And this has been an area that, frankly, we've struggled with probably more than maybe some of the other dyers have. But we're working on getting all of our colors up there, and we have a good number of them up there now, and with the availability of each one of them. And so we have, I think, mastered now how to do this, and getting those up on the site so that people can go there anytime and see the colors we have. We probably have, 50 different colors.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Was saying, who was the before you, that you both have such a fun color sense. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to make sure that people knew that you could see at least some selection of your amazing colors that you always bring to Lambtown.
Yeah, we're kind of known for our kind of really bright, clear colors, and that really is our signature look. So I've got some here. I've got a really great blue. Let me show you this one. This is
And if I
called,
remember correctly, you are blending all of your different colors in-house. You're not buying
yeah,
pre-blended colors. Can you
yeah,
explain
and
a little
that's
bit
really
about that
our
for people who
other,
don't understand that,
yeah,
what
that's
that
really
means?
another thing that really I think sets us apart in that, I also like to paint. And if any of, the audience paints, that if you're doing oil or watercolors or acrylics, often you're mixing your own colors right on your palette. And so I work only with primaries. I work with 5 colors. That's it. I have a magenta, a yellow, a cyan, and a black, and that's it, just 4.
Yeah.
And that's all I work with. And so all of the colors that we have, are just a combination. It's like the color wheel. All of these are mixed by me. And that's really the most interesting part, I think, of the whole business and the whole process is really coming up with unique colors. And obviously we have a particular color sense, and we really enjoy it. And we get a lot of really good feedback from our customers about it, that we do have really interesting and fun colors. And that's what we do. We try to bring colors that are very vibrant. They are synthetic dyes. And that's really how you get those super vibrant colors. It is extraordinarily difficult to get, a color saturation like this, unfortunately, from a plant. I really appreciate, like Brooke, what you do and others do in the natural plant dyes. And I think it's important that we keep that knowledge alive and we keep that craft going. I appreciate all of the hand work and hand craftsmanship that goes into all these things. And really kind of our spin is, but I like to take advantage of the technology.
Yeah.
So, we use synthetic dyes, but they are very safe, right? We do this in our house, right? I'm not doing it in my kitchen. We actually do it in our garage, or like the tech companies started doing, but it is safe, right? It's not harmful to the environment. And I think our process is far less resource intensive than, say, dyeing a cotton yarn, right? And people may not realize that how much more resource efficient and environmentally responsible, I think, working with wool is over some other fibers. The kinds of dyes that we use are, almost fully exhausted just in the dyeing process, and there's very little runoff when we're rinsing out, doing the final rinsing and drying of the yarn. And that's important to us, right? We don't want to hurt the planet, and that's another reason why I'm really focused on bringing a sustainable product to market, right? And I'm so proud that we can offer yarn that completely originated in the U.S. and is largely produced in California. It's grown here, it's dyed here, it is processed outside of California, but it's processed in the U.S. It's spun in the U.S. and prepared, and so I think that's really unique about us.
I agree.
And hopefully down the road we'll be able to offer some different breed specific yarns. I love merino and I love rambouillet, but I think there's many other interesting breeds that, again, we can help support other farmers and ranchers who really care about this art and these animals and these breeds and these fibers that they produce. And I think that's important for us to kind of all support each other in this endeavor.
Yeah. So I have a question from the attendees asking about where you're located. Yeah,
we're in San Ramon. So we're just in the Bay Area, East Bay. We've lived here about 4 years now. We lived out further east in East Contra Costa County before that. And like I said, we don't have a shop, but we're exclusively online at this point, and thrilled to be part of this event.
And then so in terms of just touching back again, obviously you have your website. Do you have social media that people can follow as well?
We have a little bit. So we have a Facebook page. If there's interest in a group, please reach out and let us know, either through Facebook, and maybe we'll start a group there. And we have our website. And I think my husband started an Instagram page. And I'll admit, I'm like the worst at social media. So it's
Okay.
it's something that is sort of like a goal for me to get comfortable with it and get good at
Yeah.
it. And that'll be a focus area for us, going forward here. And this is a great introduction for us that, to try to get me a little bit, more involved in social media. I do have a full-time, professional life outside of the yarn. And so I have to learn to, take advantage of all this technology that we have now to reach people now that we're doing things virtually. So I think this is really a great push for all of us to, get involved in some of these other platforms that we really haven't participated in much till now.
Yeah. And so somebody was asking if you knew what your Instagram name was, if it was Color Notes Yarn or.
It's probably Color Notes Yarn.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know.
It's okay. That's your partnership with your husband, and he does some stuff and you do some stuff.
That's right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it is really a partnership. He does all of the dyeing. He handles the website and Facebook and things like that.
Yeah.
And I design the colors. I choose the yarns that we carry, and I design all the patterns.
Wow.
And so we have a couple of patterns up on the website now. He's actually working on getting more of those put up today, and I'm working on some new designs. So more to come.
So one of the attendees was kind enough to go and look it up for us. So they posted a link to your Instagram on the chat. So you're covered. It's amazing. The community is, helping you out here and saying you have adorable kitties. So.
Yeah, I know my yarn collection. I tried to neaten up a little bit here, but.
And yes, and Maureen was saying that she agrees with you in terms of breeds. Or other breeds are wonderful, just beyond the merino and the sort of merino family. And that Susan says that Jill, I appreciate your philosophy from color blending to sourcing, which is great. Agreed.
Thank you.
And do you have anything else coming up that you wanted to share with us? We have just 2 more minute and a half left. So,
I've got a little tip here that, for beginners especially, I really believe you should always do a gauge swatch. And I know nobody likes to do a gauge swatch, right? So, but who says it had to be a square? So here's what I do. Start your gauge swatch with, 25 or 30 stitches. You want to have it long enough so you can get ideally about a 4-inch measurement somewhere in here. But you don't have to do the whole square. It takes about half the time to do a triangle. So do a couple of rows, and then every right side row, decrease 1 stitch on each end, or even on every row, and you'll get a nice triangle like this. And by the time you get up to the top, you have enough length where you can get a decent measurement for row gauge, and you have enough width to get a couple of 2 or 3 measurements for your stitch gauge. And it's so important if you're making a garment that you want it to fit. You want it to come out the size that you need it to come out. And this is how you do that. No matter what pattern you're using or who wrote it, they don't knit like you do. Everybody's different. So take whatever yarn you want to make with your project and do a little swatch like this. I did this last night. It took me about 20 minutes to do. And I wanted to show it to you to show you how the yarn knits up. And you can see,
lovely,
hopefully, the nice, really nice color variation that we get with our yarns. And this is kind of our signature look of our modeled solids. And they're very easy to work with because the color variation is there, but it's not like overwhelming. And but if you do that gauge swatch, then you can do 2 things. You can, if you're working out your own pattern or adapting a pattern, you can easily calculate your stitches per inch and then be able to take that number of stitches per inch times the width or the width that you want, and that would tell you how many stitches to cast on. If you're using your gauge to evaluate a pattern, then you can figure out, what is your size with your gauge? How many stitches is that? Because you might find there's a great pattern, but because your gauge comes out differently, you might need to go up a size or down a size to get that garment to come out the right size. To me, it's such a shame to spend all of these hours making a sweater and it doesn't fit quite right? So take 20 minutes and do your little triangle and figure out what your gauge really is, so you can pick the right size and you can get a sweater that fits you the way you'd like to, before you spend all the time making it.
Exactly. Hear, hear. Thank you so much, Jill. That was chock full of wonderful information, and it was really fun to see some of your colors. And I know that people are going to enjoy seeing the full, well, maybe not the full spectrum, but the spectrum that you have online, and see just the amazing work that you're doing in your custom blending of the dyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely check back. We'll be adding more and more as we go here, making some additional new colors. And if there's colors people are interested in, please reach out to us. You can do it right through the website, or through our Facebook page, and say, hey, I'm really interested in a color like this. And we do get a lot of good ideas from our customers, and we can even try to do some custom matching if there's something that you need. So just reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and thank you for joining us too. Yeah,
appreciate
take care. It was really good to see you again.
You too. You too.
Thank you.